there. First of all, I know I said in the previous video, a couple of notes I want to pick up on the previous video. One, that I said that thankfully no one had become a fatality of the storm that we had. Unfortunately, there was a 20-year-old Irish lad, Casper, who did succumb. And it is sad, and it's not fun. It's not fun at all. This is where if you will, the extreme sports side of it then becomes a complete different ball game altogether. We do it at Storm Chasers because of the thrill of what Mother Nature provides us, and we keep ourselves within our safety boundaries. So the whole weather community reaches out to Casper's family and friends. Our sincere apologies and sympathies. Now, reflecting on the storm of yesterday for us, there was incredible footage that's been shared on social media. I screenshotted a few things on the Twitter. I am on the Twitter. I've only just joined Twitter. The link is in the description area down below. Please come and follow me. And that way, if you follow my channel and my socials, you'll then be able to follow the Weather Fans team because the links are on there. The links also will be found via my website, nodrog.uk. Liz, Paul, Michael, anybody who is involved with the weather on there. First, Gav did say thank you for me giving him a plug for his channel on his socials. Go and follow him. He does things a damn sight more in depth than what I do as regards to weather. One thing that did get my attention was Laura Tobin put down that the lowest MSLP, which is the sea level pressure value, was in Northern Ireland the least since 1900. A record for January, 948, which was measured at Magilligan. If I've got that right, please accept my apologies. 948.1, the lowest MSLP across Northern Ireland since 1900. That is phenomenal. I think I recorded 963 when I was at Workington. 965, and I'm expecting it to go even lower than that. That's pretty low, that. We're not at the peak yet. Which was an amazing experience to surely share with you guys. Thank you for everyone for watching, and the new subscribers as well. I can't thank you enough. It gives me the energy to keep going. And if you want to join us as well on the Patreon, £1 a month, or the membership, again, the links are in there. It just helps fund what I do, my work to provide for you. And it is really massively greatly received. Nathan Evans, he said, this wind is nuts. My dad just sent me this of his back garden. They look like conifer trees that have completely torn themselves out. They are very dense. They act like sails, I suppose. And just the right gust of wind in the right direction at the right time is going to take anything with it. And there goes his fir trees over the garden. I said in the previous video that the official record at the time, I wasn't too sure whether to put it out as a higher gust. I was being careful because I know I get called for it sometimes. I know I clocked 97. It's unofficial. There were a lot of unofficial figures flying around the internet, so I just put the one that was down for 93. But I think we've got one here. Sean was saying Drummalbin in South Lanarkshire, I'm sure again you can pronounce it better than me, has just recorded its strongest gust on record, beating the Boxing Day storm, 100 miles an hour. Off the coast of Ireland, the west coast of Ireland, I can't remember its name now, I think that recorded 114 miles an hour. Talking about Ireland, Carlo Weather on the Twitter, were wind turbine damage during a storm in Connemara. Connemara, if you don't know, is the place in Ireland near Galway. I know it fondly because I'm very fond of the green marble, which is on one of the buildings at the Book of Kells that I visited last year. Last year, with my good lady Claire, and I bought her some jewellery, Connemara marble. I can't recommend it enough. It's beautiful marble, and that's how I know where Connemara is. And I think I've pronounced that right as well. Wind turbine that's gone over there. Absolutely amazing to see. Now, Disaster News posted this footage. Just watch this footage. Spanish Point, County Clare. I think I did mention a couple of videos ago where it will be County Clare. Gets some of the biggest gusts. Now that video, to me, when you see the structure of the wind, the format of the wind coming across that window there, if you look at some hurricane footage in America, it is identical. And this is what I'm passionate in trying to portray across to people. I know some professionals won't like me saying about this, talking about this, but when we get winds like this, sustainable wind gusts like this, it is the equivalent of hurricane force winds. And I've said it before, we don't call them hurricanes because the setup is different without going technical, as we don't use the word typhoon or cyclone. Fundamentally, it is the same result. You get high strength winds. The ingredients might be different, but you get the high strength winds. Hence why I say hurricane style or hurricane force winds. Not pinning my colours to the mast on it. Cat 2, Cat 3. I honestly think we should categorise it to a similar system the Americans do, where you got your Cat 1s and Cat 2s and things. The ingredients might be different, not far off, but the results are the same. And a lot of it is down to the appearance of the storm and the damage that it causes. But I honestly think from now on, I'm going to move forward and categorise my weather videos as the same as America and call them hurricane force winds. So we're going to have a little outlook on the weather that is yet to come. There is hype at the moment of another system coming. The trouble is, it's a bit like when you've had sort of a big event that's occurring and someone else says, this is going to happen again, and everyone starts getting excited but doesn't happen as much, and there's a downplay that happens, a turn down that happens. Yes, the Met Office have put out weather warnings for the next consecutive 3 days. I've got Saturday here, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. And the warnings are basically for Scotland and Northern Ireland. And you can see they've got snow and ice warnings, wind. And the reason being is there is a system that's coming across, especially tonight. If you look at this radar image, the Met Office rain radar for about 8 o'clock tonight, it looks like it could potentially be a squall line. Now that's at the front of a system that comes along. You tend to get strong winds. You get some downdraft but winds that come down, heavy winds that come down. The rain follows suit. That comes down heavy. You can get hail and you get flashes of lightning as well. Now, I think this might be a product of what we've just had, the storm that we've just had. It's all the energy that's all in the air, the atmosphere right now. Like a jet flying through the sky. It disturbs all the atmosphere and the energy in the system. Nature's way of balancing itself out. This is like a secondary system that's coming from the storm. It's come from behind. It's going to interact with the storm as it slows across the North Sea, and you're going to get this build up and this line, beautiful line, great picture of it curling and whipping down almost all the way down to the south end of the country, producing obviously rain, which could be heavy, and maybe the odd flash of light. I've spoken to a couple of people meteorologically. They're thinking it possibly could, but we don't know. We can't pin our colours to the mast at the moment for it. If you look on the GFS for the rain precipitation on the right hand side, wind gusts to the left, and we're just going to take it up to 6 o'clock. You can see where you've got these wind bands coming through. You can see the line here of these wind bands here, and this is the centre where that sort of the curl of the rain radar from the Met Office. You can see a similar pattern there. The heavy rain that's coming across the west coast of Ireland, not that they need any more. And then you can see it's a little bit more uniformal. You can follow the pattern there again. Look at the way the winds are all coming from the south. Now, because they are coming from the south, it's going to drag in some warmer air, which is obviously going to interact with some of the colder air from the top as well. So that's definitely going to have some sort of a system going on there. So you can see the yellows here. So you look to the right side miles an hour, you look at 30, 40 mile an hour winds. That's gusts. So there could be a little bit more, could be looking at 50s, perhaps. If you know any different, if you know better than me, please, by all means, correct me. I'm never ashamed to be corrected, commenting down below. But you can certainly see by 9 o'clock where the heaviest rain is going to be. You've got this line that's going all up and down the country from Wales all the way up into Scotland. You've got a couple of little green specks there as well, which indicates heavier bouts of rain. As it moves across, it kind of gives up, and then it's finished as it breaks up across the country. Now, if we go across, I'll leave links in the description area down below for the GFS model, one that I use quite often. Other weather models are available, of course. We'll flick to like a facts chart of the sea level pressure, If you notice, Laura Tobin put MSLP. That's mean sea level pressure. Obviously, if you remember at school, the mean of something is like the average that you work out. And this is again is a forecast of the sea level pressure, which we're going back to 9 o'clock tonight. But you can see that line clearly there. You can see the line clearly there, and as it interacts with the country Snowdonia, and you've got the West Highlands of Scotland coming down to Ayrshire, where it obviously transits itself into rain, sleet and snow. So we're looking at the tops of Cumbria tonight, up until midnight, getting some snow. You've got the Pennines, the North Pennines, Central Belt that's coming all the way down into Manchester, North Manchester, but definitely a huge area of Scotland that are going to see quite a bit of snowfall tonight. Obviously, the higher the elevation, the bigger chance of more snow that you're going to get. And, of course, across Northern Ireland in towards Galway. On the left-hand side there, on the western side, northwestern side, the Cliffs of Moher, is it, around that area of Ireland? And then the snow continues to the early hours, and then it's gone by 9 o'clock in the morning. So you've got that accumulation of snow that's going to appear tonight in Scotland, Pennines and Ireland. If we go back and look at the facts charts, you can see we've got a system over here. Now, this is the system that everyone's getting excited about, and they are confused because it's got a completely different name. Is it Hermione? Correct me if I'm wrong, something like that. I've not paid too much attention. This is from the Spanish Met Office. Now, what you might not understand is that when we name storms, like the ones to come, like Hugo and Floris or whatever, and the one that's just passed, and Dara, it's a collaboration of 3 meteorological offices. You've got the Dutch, you've got the UK, we know it's the Met Office, and you've got the Irish, our Irish cousins as well, over there as well, that collaborate these names together to name them, because generally the weather patterns do affect us in that fashion. Weather patterns don't affect Spain like they affect us, unless they come up from Spain, and obviously then, you know, it's second-hand goods, if you will. Now, the Spanish Met Office have named this storm, and the reason being is because they can see it way out in the Atlantic, and it moves itself in. It tightens up. You've got 960 there, so you've got some big gusts that are going to kick off, and then it brings itself in towards the west coast of Ireland. Now, if we flick over to the gusts on the Net Weather GFS, you can see the way the winds, these trade winds that are coming up here, start to bring themselves in to the Celtic Sea, the North Sea, and the west coast of Ireland. And that's the first belt of winds that passes through. And then you've got the main structure here, which is being shown all the way across here with the tight isobars, bringing itself in. Now, it seems to hang around the west coast and the southwest coast, sorry, of Ireland quite a bit. It seems to slow down, which is maybe why there's a concentration of gusts that appear in the Celtic Sea before it then decides to migrate itself across Cornwall, Devon, into the English Channel, and you've got the southwest coast of Wales, which gets affected by these winds. Now, look across to the right side. If you look at the darker reds, that's obviously in the sea. You've got 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, which are going to come in and affect Lizard Point, all that sort of area, Truro, all that Devon and Cornwall area. If you look over here on the sea level pressure, you can see it brings itself in now. Because the centre of the area is here, the centre of the storm isn't always the strongest winds, the most violent weather. As you can see, it's the calmest area, a bit similar to what I was explaining to you with the storm that's just passed. But this definitely is a Southern Britain gig, which I will not be chasing because I'm still recovering from yesterday. But I'm sure the storm chasers down there will be following this very carefully, and maybe getting some footage for you to share. And then it dissipates and goes off. Now, as per usual, Mother Nature will do what she pleases, like with the storm that passed yesterday. I don't want to say the name because I always keep saying the wrong name. Eowyn, whatever. People have called it heroin. You know, it's just no. You know, it's funny how they come across these names. Especially me being dyslexic, I find it difficult to remember to say these words. So, you know, I do. Please beg my pardon. But anyway, this storm has gone through. It gives up as it goes off into the North Sea and produces those winds. So yes, there is another storm coming. We're right. I don't know if the Met Office are going to name it. There are yellow weather warnings out for now. There could be an amber weather warning that goes off for parts of Devon and Cornwall. And certainly then it finishes by going off into the North Sea. There is hints. I mean, we're going off to the end of the month of some activity coming in a bit later on. I think when I had a brief look into the future, which is the future and it will change, there was a system that seems to bring itself in across, can you see, Scotland. They seem to get a bit of a windy session for a few days. And then there's a larger one that comes sort of the back end of the first week of February, which you can see there's some great big gusts there. And we've got hurricane force winds way off in the North Atlantic towards Shetland, but that does skirt itself off, and then we get a bit of a beefy session again, which comes in at sort of around the 8th of February. Now, don't worry about it, because we call this Fantasy Island, and it will change dramatically. It could go off into the north, or it could sink down in the south. Like any storm system, it's difficult to predict. But it is interesting to see these charts. We definitely got a more active period that's coming up. Generally, it's all down to the jet stream, which is way up in the atmosphere, very high up in the atmosphere, which is very energetic at the moment, which could be a secondary process of all the mixed energy that's flying around in the United States at the moment. There is some other factors to it as regards the polar vortex, which I'm not going to go into because I don't want to drive you all crazy. The polar maritime air that stores itself up into the top end of the planet does have a massive influence in what we get here. In fact, let me just have a quick look at this, because I've just noticed that there is some very cold air on the way. Yeah, there's definitely some figures much lower in the mountains and whatnot. But again, like I said, that's way off in the distance. There's an active period. I think there's a bit of a calm period into next week, and then it ramps up again, and it looks like it could be going cold by the end of the first week of February. But like I said, I can't pin my colours to the mast. I'm rambling on. There you go. There's your update as regards the weather. I'll do some more of these as much as I possibly can. I hope you enjoy these type of videos. Please get involved in the discussion down below, and we can certainly find out what is definitely going on with our weather as time progresses. Stay warm, stay safe, and don't forget to follow links in the description area down below. Ta-ra.